we're going to be changing the plugs out in the Calypso clone because, as you all know, this is a turbo car, and that's something that you really need to do when you have a car that has a power adder, like a turbo or nitrous or supercharger. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and take a few things off the old Calypso, drop this downpipe, and change out the plugs. Now on your car, it may be a lot easier, but for me, having this downpipe in the way makes things a lot harder. So let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, we're going to go ahead and remove this downpipe right here so that we can get to these spark plugs. Now the other side is free and clear on this car, even with the turbo. Actually, probably more room with the way the headers are faced. We're going to go ahead and pop this wideband sensor out right here. Get that out of the way. Take this V-band clamp off. Go ahead and try to get this out of the way. Now, a lot of times, if you don't know and if you're struggling here, one of the best ways to do this is loosen your upper intake and kind of shift it to the side so that way you can get this downpipe out of the way. A lot of times, if you still have your air conditioner, these things aren't going to want to come off. And as you can see, basically the downpipe hits the throttle body. Now that's completely up to you. You can pick this thing up and kind of leave it like that, and it will give you ample room to get in here and get to everything. But I really want to get this thing off and make sure all the wires are good, kind of clean some stuff up. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead, loosen up the upper intake, get this thing up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and pull all the wires off, make sure nothing is burnt or anything like that, because whenever this is all up against your turbo piping, it gets hot. So let's get all this off. What we'll do here is go ahead and pull the distributor cap completely off with the wires attached. We'll set this off to the side and we'll inspect it separately. Clean everything up and all that. I'm going to go ahead, get these plugs out, and then we'll look at them and see what we got. NGK Tr6. This is the part number that you're going to have to give them if you go in the store, which is 4177. For whatever reason, they can't seem to find them whenever you tell them you need a Tr6 plug, which is beyond me, but that's just how it is. So let's go ahead and get all these unboxed, and then I'll show you how I gap my plugs. So this is what I use, old school feeler gauge, and we're probably going to set these to 20 thousandths. That's pretty good. That's a pretty low gap, and it will affect your idle just a little bit. Car will probably run a little rich, but at the same time you don't want to be blowing out your spark. So I'll tell you what, just to be safe, let's go. Let me look through here and see what I want to do. Let's go 24 thousandths. Not that it's going to make a big difference. So just pick your two. Obviously, all you do is add your numbers together. That's 4 thousandths. That's 20 thousandths. Just like that. Stack them up. Put this in between your plug here. And then all I do is just tap the plug until I get a little bit of tension. And just like that. There you go.
I was meant to walk this road. I was meant to walk this road.
All right. So they are all done, all gapped. There again, 24 thousandths. That should work. I'm running about anywhere from 10 to 15 pounds of boost on my car, so 20 to 24 thousandths is just fine. I don't seem to really have any problems there. Now we definitely want to run some anti-seize on this because they are going in aluminum heads and we don't want these things galling up. So let's go ahead and do that now. Just a little bit, guys. Don't get carried away. Just put a little bit on there, and I promise you this will absolutely help these spark plugs come out, because if you've ever put a set of these spark plugs in your car and you go to take them out, you know, a couple months later or a year later and they don't want to come out, and that's why. Used to, I never did this, but nowadays I absolutely do it. I have seen the light. So here are the plugs. We got one oddball Motorcraft, as you can see, but everything looks pretty good for the most part, guys. I don't really see anything that looks out of the way with these plugs. I think they were fine. The car did have a little bit of a misfire to it, but I think it's honestly, it was just a wire. I moved one of the wires around and it seemed to fix the problem. But anyway, those are what the plugs look like. Car's running super rich, and this plug I broke after the fact. Or at least I think I did anyway. I don't know. It may have been cracked to start with. That could have been the problem. Oh yeah, I forgot. We got our parts washer in. So like I told you, this is the one obviously from Eastwood. It's a 40-gallon. This thing is sweet. Super sweet, guys. So what we're going to do right now is clean up these wires over here. And you may be thinking, what? Parts washer? Why would you clean your wires like that? Well, there's always more than one way to skin a cat. So this is what we're going to do here. So I want to take all these plugs and just kind of inspect them, clean them off good, make sure nothing is burnt, nothing like that. And this stuff, this solution, guys, this is the PSC 1000. So this is not going to harm any of the rubber or anything like that. Also, don't freak out if you ever see like a burnt boot. You can always rob a boot off of another set of wires or something like that. So that doesn't mean you got to go out and spend $60 on another set of plug wires. That's a pretty easy fix. I've covered it in one of my videos before. I'm probably not going to do it in this video. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up and I'll show you what we got once we're done. Looking over the wires, everything looks great. There was one spot right here, so right there, but that's not an issue. That should be just fine too. No cuts, no tears, anything like that. So with that being said, the other side's fine. Went ahead, cleaned under the cap, everywhere else. All right, with all that being said, let's go ahead and throw this back on the car, bust it off.
Every step I take, I'm stepping up. I march like an army. I fall more than I like, but I get back up. I'm better for the bruises. My scars are all badges. Patch me up. Bravery, bandages, and bullshit. I'm proud that I'm driven. No letting up. I'm headed to the top.
All right, so we got everything buttoned up. We got the new plugs in. Made sure all the wires are good. So now it's time to get the car running. So let's see if that fixed our misfire issue. Well, as of right now, I think that fixed the misfire issue that we had in the car, so I'm really pleased about that. This cutout though, it's a headache. But this thing just rattles and makes all types of noises, so we're probably gonna have to put an electric cutout, or either at least just go to a newer vacuum or boost operated cutout. Anyway guys, whatever the case may be, the Calypso is back running good once again. I'm telling you, this thing has like 9 lives because it just keeps coming back from the dead. I think this is what you would get if you had a fox and you buried it in the pet cemetery. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up, and as always, thanks for watching.
I'm too long-sighted for this short-term shit. Never follow fads, I'm busy making shit. We just wait for the flavor of the week to come back again. Rocky Road seems to be a theme, damn it's back again. Back to kill, I'm back to win. Born with an axe in my back like I need